Where is my passion, purpose? Where can I find it? Where is my passion, purpose? Where can I find it? Where is my passion, purpose? Where can I find it? Dr. Walls and friends, where I find it? Dr. Walls and friends. Dr. Walls and friends, where I find it? Dr. Walls and friends. I find passion, purpose, inspiration too. At Dr. Walls and friends, where I find it. Dr. Walls and welcome to Dr. Walls and Friends on UCCN TV, and I am here today with Roger Grant. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good. And you?
I'm good. It's wonderful to see you again.
Yes, after what?
Yeah, about almost 3 years now.
Right.
So we had the opportunity to meet at the People's
Festival.
Yes, the People's Festival in Delaware in honor of Bob Marley.
Right.
Yes,
right.
many years ago.
Many years ago.
Had an opportunity to meet several of your artists.
Yes.
Who I was very, very impressed with.
Right.
So fire stays in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So now tell the audience about yourself.
Well, first and foremost, I'm a record producer. I'm a songwriter, artist manager, and a studio owner. And we also have a label, a record label.
Okay, and the name of that label?
619 Entertainment.
All right, and how did you come up with that?
Well, the studio is located at 619 52nd Street in Philadelphia.
Uh-huh.
So we just said, we think it's a good, it sounds good. It works, yes.
All right. And now we hear this accent.
Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What part of Jamaica?
I'm from Kingston.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we got to make sure, you represent, say hello to your people in Kingston and Jamaica.
Big up.
There we go.
Big up to all Jamaicans.
Yes.
Yes. Right.
Do you want to give them a little patois?
Well, we're there, so, with Dr. Walls and Sisters in Harmony, Blog Talk Radio, we're just doing it,
All right.
Respect.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So now how did you get involved in music?
I got involved in music. I started out as an amateur singer. Mm-hmm. I really wanted to be a singer.
Uh-huh. But
after doing it for a little while, I said to myself, I think there are people who can do it better than I.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've always been writing songs. So I tried to be a songwriter in the purest sense.
Okay.
In Jamaica, I found a few takers for my songs. A lot of people don't want to record your songs. Most people say, no, I write my own songs or whatever. Mm-hmm. So that naturally led me to become a producer.
Okay.
So I put my own money up and I started to produce records. Mm-hmm. So that way I can say to the singer, listen, you have to record my songs. I'm going to spend the money on the studio time, the musicians. So this is the song, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I became a record producer. Mm-hmm. And I started my first label called Organic Records, which was back in '99. Mm-hmm. And the first song I put out on the label was with a group called 4th Street Sisters. Okay. It was 4 ladies. And it was a song that I wrote called Stay. We put that single out. It was a mild success. Then I started to manage a Guyanese living in Jamaica called Natural Black. Then I put 2 singles out with Natural Black. Okay. And those 2 singles went top 10.
Wow.
Now, this guy's career really took off. And I naturally became his manager.
Yes.
So from record producer, I went straight into artist management. And I started to tour with him. I produced 2 albums with him.
Wow.
And I managed him from 2000 until 2004. Mm-hmm. Then I migrated to the United States. I came here. And after around 4 years, I started another label with 3 other Jamaicans. And that label is 619 Entertainment Group.
Look at that.
So what I actually did was I merged my first label into this label. This became the parent company. So I merged the first label, Organic Records, into this one.
Gotcha.
I also merged my music publishing, which controls the copyright of my songs, into this parent company as well.
Okay. So now how does that feel? So you started out as a singer-songwriter, and now other people are singing your words, your feelings, your thoughts.
Right.
What is that experience like?
That experience is one that I can't describe, because a song is a thought. I can be in my kitchen. Sometimes songs come to me in my sleep. And when a thought becomes something tangible,
Yes.
it gives you a certain amount of satisfaction, because it's like building. It's like building something from scratch. It's like something coming out of thin air.
Yes.
Something comes from inspiration, then it becomes tangible. Then after it becomes tangible, you're able to share it with others.
Yes.
So it's a feeling, for me, there's no other more fulfilling experience than having to hear your song and then to have it affect people.
Yes.
You know, it's a feeling that I can't really describe. It's like, it's divine.
Wonderful.
You know, yeah.
Wonderful. Now, what's it also like for you to be a male who writes songs and then maybe hear a female voice?
Well, you know, it has nothing to do with male or female. It has something to do with interpretation.
Okay.
If the person can capture the song and deliver it effectively,
Come this way. Okay.
then it doesn't matter if it's male or female.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It gives you the same satisfaction.
Okay.
As long as the end product is what you intended. You know, it gives you that
It
same
gives you that piece.
Right.
Now, have you had an experience yet where someone sings your words, sings your thoughts, and you say, they said it better than what I could, or I couldn't have said it better myself?
Yeah, I've had that experience where if the person has that talent level and they interpret it the right way and they deliver it the right way, then it's like, you know, it's unreal. You know, it's like, you know, I couldn't have done it any better than that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they make it into something else.
Yes.
Because they take it and they own it. And then they give it, they put it back out.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's wonderful, and thank you for sharing that, because there are so many times songwriters or even singers who may be holding on to music, and they don't want other people to sing it or use it.
Yeah.
And here you've been an example of basically letting the songs go or be spoken through other voices.
Yes, but you know, sometimes I meet people who are young in the business, and they say, "Oh, I write my own songs, or I don't want anybody else to sing my songs." And I said, "You're being cautious where caution is not necessary."
Okay.
Because music is free. Music comes from inspiration. I said, you're trying to hold on to you want 100% of nothing when maybe you can claim 20 or 30% of something. You know, just be free, just be liberal. You know, let it go. If someone else can deliver that song better than you, let them do it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So for me, it's not about holding on to anything. It's about sharing. You know what I'm saying?
Now, for you as a producer and even as a songwriter, particular style of music that you tend to lean towards?
Well, naturally, I gravitate towards reggae because I'm from Jamaica. But I'm not into rap. Not because I'm not into the genre of rap, but because of what rap music represents today.
Okay.
In terms of what is being promoted and what is considered popular. But I like all styles of music, you know, but naturally I gravitate towards reggae.
Okay. So much so that there's something in your hand.
Yes.
What is that?
This is a book, a book I wrote. It's my first book.
Yes.
The title is 50 Most Significant Jamaican Musical Artists,
Ah.
Past to Present.
Well, we're going to take a pause, and we're going to come back and talk about these 50 most significant Jamaican musical artists.
Of course.
How's that sound?
It sounds good to me.
All right.
All right.
And maybe we get you to sing a song when we come back.
No.
No? Okay. We'll see what we can work out over break, y'all. We'll be back shortly on Dr. Walls and Friends.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Princess Thunder. So life can't done. Help me rise the youth from the slum. You heard us been nothing of you and I the sun. You make me rise from the dump. Get a youth to the walk from them gun. You think so I see I am a cause every come ya. Life can't done. Yeah, me rise the youth from the slum. Yeah, nothing to do and I the sun. You make me rise from the dump. Get a youth to the walk from them gun. You think so I see I am a cause every come ya. You see the pain that I feel just like a sword. Things that Lord reveal are locked behind them door. I know true, you come to me, I go relax. Now but that feel say you can't come give me any fool chat, yeah. Come at the day to teach you why you can't come take it back, yeah. From Friday to Saturday, I keep my Sabbath, yeah. Me a love him Selassie and Daddy and Marak, yeah. Blood thunder, Mr. Life can't turn, yeah. Help me rise the youth from the slum, yeah. There's been nothing and you and I the sun, yeah. Make me rise from the dump. Get a youth to the walk from them bone, yeah. King Selassie, I am Marcus, every come, yeah. So they must see them name, I wanna me, I want me, I tell them me a warrior. See them name, I wanna me, I want, but to be a judge of warrior, yeah. So well I meet them can't sponsor. This a ghetto girl, me say them can't come sorry for. Line me a line, pick up and down Lucifer. Say GP, me come fi pull up the barrier. Let out all of the prisoner, them run left the water. Righteous youths now walk, it's no old. Ya fling with them out, a dash with them cold. Them ya ghetto girl now watch the Pink Panther. We bling up a Santa, stop from Wanda. Link up the police, now go link up the soldier. Them a see them, them a wanna be a war. Me a tell them me a warrior. See them, them a wanna be a war, but to be a judge of warrior, yeah. I miss a life can't turn ya. Help me rise the youth from the slum. Ya heard us been nothing and you and I the sun. Ya make me rise from the dump. Get a youth to the walk from them gun. Ya King Selassie I am a Pacific come ya. Life can't done ya. Me rise the youth from the slum. Ya heard us been nothing and you and I the sun. Ya make me rise from the dump. Get a youth to the walk from them gun. Ya King Selassie I am a Pacific come ya. You see the pain that I feel just like a sword. Things that don't reveal I lock behind them door. Ya and the crew you come see me I go relax. Now but that feel say you can't come give me any fool chat, yeah. One mother nature teach you why you can't come take it back, yeah. From Friday to Saturday I keep my Sabbath, yeah. Me hail up King Selassie and Daddy and Marak, yeah. Blood thunder, I'm Mr. Life can't done, yeah. Help me rise the youth them from the slum, yeah. Just been nothing and you and all the sun, yeah. Make me rise from the dump. Get a youth to the walk from them gun, yeah. King Selassie I am a Pacific come, yeah. Life can't done, yeah. Me rise the youth them from the slum, yeah. Nothing and you and all the sun, yeah. Make me rise from the dump. Get a youth to the walk from them gun, yeah. King Selassie I am a Pacific come, yeah.
Welcome back. We're here with Roger Grant, and before we went on commercial break, he started to tell us about his new book, The 50 Most Significant Jamaican Artists.
Musical artists.
Musical artists, past and present.
Past to present, yes.
All right, so tell us who are some of these 50 that you listed.
The 50, well, there are some obvious names in there. Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, Jimmy Cliff, Toots, Dennis Brown, Gregory Isaacs,
Freddie
McGregor, of course, Sugar Minott, Yellow Man,
yes.
Shabba Ranks, Shaggy. There are some names which might not readily come to mind. Delroy Wilson, Augustus Pablo, Lee Scratch Perry. We have in there Judy Mowat.
Yes.
We also have Louise Bennett, Byron Lee, Ernie Ranglin, and the list goes on.
Griffith.
Marcia Griffiths, of course,
Yes,
a giant of Jamaican
Big
music.
time. Had a chance to interview her a couple months ago.
Right.
Lady Saw.
Vibes Cartel, Mavado, Jacure, Luciano, Garnet Silk. We have them all, you know, all the greats. Barry Salmon.
Yes.
Without question.
Without question.
There's some names in there that's without question.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So now, you know, it's funny because Chris Rock's movie Top 5 is out. And so he was talking about, you know, the top 5 hip hop artists. And so here we have top 50. And I'm sure you could ask a variety of people and they would come up with a different 50.
Exactly. Exactly.
First, let's talk a little bit about how did you come to write this book?
This book was comes from a personal passion of mine. Because I love music so much, when I was going to school, I used to go into record shops. When I went into record shops, I didn't just go in there just to listen music. I always read the liner notes of all the albums. So this comes from a deep-rooted curiosity about music and the people who made the music. So I just don't want to hear the song. I want to know who wrote that song, who produced it, who played on it, you know, who's the singer, what's his background like.
So you really want to connect to it.
Exactly.
To them.
Exactly. You know, and I always ask questions.
Yes.
You know, I mean, when I go into a studio and I hear a song, I say, who's that guy singing? Then I would ask, where is he from? So this is a deep passion of mine, to not just know about the music, but to go behind the music. To know about the people who made it, to know a little bit about their background, what makes them tick, and all that. So this comes from way back. Then it hit me that when most people talk about Jamaican music, they say Bob Marley.
Yes, they do.
Now, Bob Marley is the king of reggae. It's undisputed. But I said, a document needs to be left of the lesser known names because they are just as important.
That's right.
And they made significant contributions to the music just as the greats. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do this book about 50. Because, you know, Bob Marley himself would not like for people to be focusing on him
alone,
singular. That was not his style. If people knew Bob Marley personally, that was not his style. There was one incident where Bob Marley went to a function with Jacob Miller. And the journalist was there and he was pestering Bob Marley with questions. Bob Marley, you know, tell me about your album, tell me about this. And you know what Bob turned around and said to him?
What'd he say?
Jacob has a project coming out too. Why don't you ask him about his project as well?
See?
You know what I mean? Don't just focus on me because I'm the big star. You know what I mean? Ask Jacob about his project. So Bob Marley was a very unselfish person. And it is in the spirit. It is in that spirit that I wrote this book. Because Bob himself would not want us to focus just on him. Jamaican music is a collective effort, and it came about because of the collective efforts of many people. And that's why I wrote a book like this.
And so now, how did you get your information for each of these 50 people? Did you have an opportunity to talk to them?
I spoke to some, and this is luckily, fortunately, this is the digital age. A lot of interviews are on YouTube and they're all over the net. And so if there is misinformation, it is because maybe the artists themselves gave misinformation, because a lot of the research came from the very mouth of the artists.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And now for people who are interested in obtaining a copy of this book, where can they go to do that? This
book is on Amazon, and it's in the paperback format, and it's also in you can get it on your Kindle. You can load it onto your phone or your tablet.
Wonderful.
But Amazon is the main distributor.
And so now, is this the first of more to come?
This is the first of more to come. What I'm gonna focus on next is groups. Right. Yes, because with this book, some of the artists, their work overlap with groups that they belong to, such as Burning Spear, Toots. But now I'm going to do groups because there are great groups coming out that have come out of Jamaica. I'm talking about Third World. And then what I'm going to do with groups, I'm not going to just focus on Jamaica. I'm going to focus on reggae. Because a great group like Steel Pulse,
Yes.
they didn't come out of Jamaica. They came out of Birmingham, England. So I want to include the great groups.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So, and you know what I like about this is that for some of the lesser known artists, and because this is the digital age now, we can go on and listen to their music easier.
Easier. Right.
Easier.
Right.
Yes.
Right. It's and the book has a little bit of everything. Not only the drama in each artist's life.
Yes.
It's also a little bit of politics.
Okay.
A little bit of it teaches you about social movements. You know, reggae music was also used as a pawn in the Cold War.
Oh, I didn't know that piece.
Yes, reggae music was used as a pawn in the Cold War.
Really?
Right?
Oh, we may have to take a break and come back and speak to that a little bit.
I'm telling you. So this touches on social movement.
Yes.
It touches on politics. It gives you a little bit of history. It gives you, so it's not just music.
Yes.
So for people who said, oh, this is a music book, I'm not really into it like that, you know, you can get a lot more from reading a book like this.
Well, that's a great teaser. So people, the 50 most significant musical artists, past to present.
Past to present.
All right, by Mr. Roger Graham. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to share with our audience before we go?
Well, all I'd like to say is this is a great read.
Yes.
It's a compelling read. Each chapter is like a small novella in itself. It has all the drama associated with the lives of people. It has personality conflict. It has man-woman conflict. It has intrigue.
Okay.
There's betrayal in there. There's the rise and fall of an artist's life in terms of some people how they ascend to the top and then because of their moral failings.
Yes.
So it has all the drama and it has all the intrigue associated with life. And it has a lot of lessons in there.
Well, I'm excited to take a read.
A lot of lessons in there about just the human condition,
Yes.
the human mind, and how people think. So it's a human interest book, more than just music.
Okay.
You know, so I distinctly, it's not a PR piece about each artist. There are the positives about the artist, and there's also the negatives.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that, because a lot of times, you know, people listening may have thought it was just about the music part of them. But this is an all-encompassing book. It sounds like there's something in there for everybody.
For everybody.
Wonderful.
And, you know, reggae music is mainstream.
Yes.
So there's a lot of names in there. There's a lot of names in there which does not necessarily belong to the reggae genre. You're talking about Blondie, the Rolling Stones. You're talking about West Coast groups like Sublime. There's Snoop Dogg in there.
Yes.
Because reggae music has always kind of commingled
Yes.
with the other genres. And I've always said that reggae is Jamaica's interpretation of the world's music.
Look at that.
Listen, John Holt had a #1 song in England, and it was he redid a country and western song.
Yes.
Chris Christopherson's "Let Me Make It Through the Night." So reggae artists, they take any song from any genre and make it a hit. I'm telling you.
Well, we know.
Peter Tosh's biggest hit was Johnny Be Good.
Yes.
That's a Chuck Berry original.
Yes.
When Ine Kamosi did "Here Comes the Hot Stepper," he made over Wilson Pickett's song.
Yes.
That's a song from the 60s.
Yes.
Bob Marley's "One Love" is Curtis Mayfield's "Train Is Coming." So reggae music has always commingled, and there's always this kind of, you know what I mean, this kind of synergy.
Yes.
With all the other genres. You know, so it's a book, it's a world. It's a world thing.
Yes.
You know, it's not just a Jamaica thing.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to take a pause right there, and we'll be back on Dr. Walls and Friends. Ruby Burke of Children's Book Workshop is Vice President and Executive Director of Operations of Sisters in Harmony. Ruby is an international author, mentor, and speaker. As a survivor of domestic violence, Ruby actively speaks about this topic both nationally and internationally. Ruby is the author of Survivors Emancipation Day and Yap Yap the Talking Horse. Ruby also works with youth to build their self-esteem, combat the effects of bullying, and understand the importance of developing their goals and realizing their dreams. For speaking engagements, mentoring workshops, or book signings, call Ruby Burke 301-523-9498, www.rubyburke.com.
Welcome back to Dr. Walls and Friends, and we are here live with Roger Grant. And so before the break, you started to talk about reggae music and Rastafarianism.
Right.
Start to tell the audience a little bit more about it, because I don't think some people do know that there's a connection, but may not know why there's a connection.
Rastafarianism is the most important element when it comes on to reggae music. Mm-hmm. Because, all right, in the beginning we had we had Coxsone, mm-hmm. who had a label called Studio One. There was Coxsone and there was Duke Reid. Those two were the two dominant producers at the advent of the Jamaican music industry. Mm-hmm. Coxsone owned Studio One, Duke Reid owned Treasure Isle. Okay. But what these two producers mainly did was they recorded American songs. Mm-hmm. They had Jamaican artists recording American songs. When Rastafarianism came into the picture, that's when the music took on a distinctly Jamaican identity, a strictly Negro identity, and a strictly African-based identity. When Rastafarianism came into the picture, the homogeneity of the music was broken. It became something more potent. It became real. It became relevant. Because instead of just having Jamaican artists record the hits coming out of America, now they could express themselves organically. Okay. They could express themselves. They could tell you what they were really feeling. So this was spearheaded by the Wailers. We're talking about Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, and Bunny Wailer. Yes. After they left Coxsone, they started recording for Lee Scratch Perry. Lee Scratch Perry had a studio called Black Ark. All of these guys at this time was becoming indoctrinated in the Rastafarian religion. Okay. This was underneath the auspices of a priest called Mortimer Plano. Mortimer Plano's significance is that he was the first Jamaican to lead a delegation to Ethiopia in 1961. Okay. Now, when Marley, Livingston, and Tosh started to be schooled by Plano, the music took on the Rastafarian identity, the Rastafarian ethos. Now, this was when the music became, this was when the potency was added to the music. Okay. Because now we are identifying ourselves as a transplanted people from Africa. Okay. This was when the African identity came to the fore. So Rastafarianism and the influence of Rastafarianism is the most important ingredient that reggae has. Interesting. Because this is what gave it its spiritual content. Yes. And it was because of the spiritual content why it became so powerful. Everybody is wondering, why is a little country like Jamaica, it's 177 miles long, it's 56 miles wide, the population is only 2.5 million people. Why is this music so powerful? Yes. It's powerful because of its spiritual attributes.
Okay.
That's why it's so powerful. Because in this music you can get something. It's like reading the Bible. Most of the great reggae artists, most of the great reggae artists, they have biblical verses in their songs.
Interesting.
Remember, the Rastafarian movement, one of the main branches of the Rastafarian movement is called the 12 Tribes of Israel.
Sure is.
Their main prophet is Haile Selassie.
Yes.
Now, Haile Selassie is a descendant of Solomon. So the Judeo-Christian
Yes.
lineage is in the music. This music is linked to Solomon. It goes all the way back to King David.
Oh, interesting.
So this is what makes it so powerful.
Yes.
There's no one who can read the Bible
Yes.
without coming away feeling different.
Yes.
Now it's the same way the music affects people. You know, one of the great compositions, Love and Hate by Dennis Brown, it's David's Psalms.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Garnet Silk had a lot of biblical verses. Bob Marley quoted the Proverbs. He quoted it. So this music as a lineage, as a link
Oh, fascinating.
to the scriptures itself.
Wow.
And this is what makes it so powerful.
Wow.
Now, why is what people are saying the dancehall music has taken reggae or Jamaican music down a path where it's declining and all that?
Okay.
Of course, because if you take the spiritual attributes out of it, it's like Samson cutting his hair. You're taking the power out of it.
Taking the strength.
So I'm saying it and I'm saying it again. Without the influence
Yes.
of Rastafarianism, the
Yes.
music would not be where it is today.
Well, I thank you so much for breaking that down for myself as well as for our audience.
And I thank you for having me.
Yes.
You know,
All
and for
right.
sharing it with our viewers. Yes.
Yes, powerful, powerful. Well, you heard it right here on Dr. Walls and Friends, and we'll see you again real soon.
Friends, where I find it, Dr. Walls.